Hello, welcome to today's class. This is Sigma Tech Consult Limited. Today we will be learning a topic in mathematics again. And today we'll be looking at percentages. Okay? So we'll be looking at percentages and we'll have, of course, our learning objectives. Okay? Our learning objective today is after this class, you should be able to define what percentage is and solve problems on percentages, okay? So, by definition, percentage in mathematics is a number or ratio that is expressed as a fraction of 100. It is a number or a ratio that is expressed as a fraction of 100, or we can say that it is a fraction whose denominator is 100. Any fraction you have the denominator as 100 is percentage, okay? All right, so what that also means is that if you see any fraction whose denominator is 100, it means the numerator of that fraction is the percentage of what we're talking about. Do you understand me now? For example, if we have, okay, I'm coming to that. We said the percentage is denoted by a sign. The sign of the percentage is this. Okay? Now, we said that it is a fraction whose denominator is 100. For example, let's say if we have 2 over 100. 2 over 100. So what it means is that the denominator of this is a fraction. The denominator of this fraction is 100 and the numerator is 2. Do you understand? The numerator of a fraction is the number that is being divided by the number down, which is the denominator. So the one up is numerator, the one down is denominator. So in this expression, we said that 100 is the denominator and 2, which is the numerator, is 2%. What this means is that this is 2%. In writing this in percentage form, it means 2%. Do you understand me now? So if the denominator is 100, it means that the numerator is that numerator percent. Do you understand me now? So what it means is that if we have x over 100, this means x what? Percent. If we have a over 100, this means a percent. Do you understand that now? If we have this young man here over 100, it means this young man percent. Do you understand that now? That is what it means. So if you have any number and there is a percentage sign attached to it, it is that number percent. What this also means is that anywhere you see 2%, it means 2 over 100. Here means what? X over 100. This is A over 100. This is this guy over 100. So you must understand all that, okay? So let's get some examples on percentages and see how fast we can run with that. Okay, so we have here the first thing they say, express number 1, express 1 over 2 as a percent, as a percentage, full stop. Simple. Now, whenever you are asked to express a number, it could be a decimal number, it could be a fraction, it could be a normal rational number, like the normal real numbers. It may be a letter, it may be a symbol. Whenever you are asked to express anything as a percentage, it means multiply that particular thing by 100. Do you understand me? So if we say we should express 1 over 2 as a percentage, this means 1 over 2 is multiplied by 100. we can put over 1 if we want to. Remember, all numbers has over 1. All numbers that are not fractions have a denominator that is called 1. 1 is the denominator of all real numbers. So you can put over 1. If you don't want, you can remove it. Okay? It means the same thing. You can remove it or you can put over 1. It means the same thing. Do you understand me now? So, now, in multiplication of fractions, when you are multiplying fraction, there is no need of looking for the LCM of the two denominators of the fraction, then dividing it by the denominator of this one and multiplying, dividing, and no. Once you're multiplying two fractions, the denominator of the first fraction multiplies the denominator of the next fraction, while the numerator multiplies the other numerator. If you have 5 fractions that you are multiplying all of them, I think we'll learn multiplication of fractions, division of fractions, addition of fractions, and subtraction of fractions. So when multiplying fractions, all the numerators of that fraction, that is the number up, we multiply the number up, while all the denominators of that fraction, even if there are 5 fractions multiplying themselves, all the denominator will multiply themselves like that. Do you understand that now? So what that means is that 1 will multiply 100, 2 will multiply 1. Do you understand? So this means 1 times 100 is 100 over 2 times 1 is 2. Do you understand that now? Okay. So what that means now is, remember there is a percent here. I didn't add that to you. We are expressing as percentage. So you multiply by 100%. That's what it means. Okay. All right. So this will now mean 2 into itself is 1. 2 divide 100 is 50. How? 2 into 10, because this is a big number. It's because it's 100 and easy for you to know that it's 50. But there are some larger numbers that you may find it difficult to know what the answer is. Okay. What you can do is divide them in bits. You can start with the first 2 digits. Okay. 2 into 10 is 5. You know 2 can't divide 0. So this 5 and 0 is 50. So that is why we have 2 times 100 giving us 50. So this is 50. Remember, there is a percentage here that I forgot to put for you. So this means 50%. We have expressed half as percentage. Now, do you know that they may ask us to change from percentage to fraction? Okay? If we are asked to change this percentage to fraction, we will also get 1 over 2. Okay? I think what I can do for you is we'll learn the two things at once. Once we arrive at this kind of thing, we'll also change from this to fraction so that we get this. So you are getting 2 things in one now. So now, what that means is that, let's see if we can convert this thing to fraction. They can ask you in exam, express 50% as what? As a fraction. What they're asking you to do is to make this 50% to be in this form, in a fraction, where you have a numerator and a denominator. Do you understand me now? Remember, I told you about this man, and I said this man percent means what? This man over 100. Is that not what I said? So it means anything that has percent means that thing divided by 100. I also gave you 2% today, and I told you it is 2 over 100. Do you understand me now? So the same thing we have here, to do this will mean equal to 50 over 100. And this will be what? 0 divide this 0, we are having 5 over 10. Okay? 5 is common here, 5 here is 1, 5 here is 2. So this is 1 over 2. Can you see that we have gotten back what we initially have here? Do you get that now? So to change a fraction to this particular, to a percentage, we can also change from that percentage to fraction. But the thing is that whether the number is in fraction or in percentage, they must have the same value. Just like this thing here is the same as half. If we say 50%, it means half of 100. That is what that means, okay? All right, so let's look at some other examples. Express express 2, or let's say express 4 as a what percentage? Okay, that is 2 there. Express 2 as a percentage. So what that will mean is to solution. So to express 2 as a percentage means 2 will be multiplied by what? 100%. Remember, 2 is not a fraction, okay? So it's just 2 times 100%. That's what it means. So this means 2 times 100 gives us 200%. Let's see. Let's convert, let's express 200% as, or let's say what is 200%. Let's express 200% as a whole number. Okay? So express 200% as a whole number. To do that, it means anything that has percent on it means that thing over what? 100. So this is 0 cancel 0, 0 cancel 0, 1 into 2 is 2. Can you see that we have also gotten back our 2 here and our 2 here? So when you express any number as a percentage, it gives you, when you reverse it, it gives you that same number that you just converted to percentage. Then the next one we have there is change. Number 3. Change, they can give you the question as change 0.2 to percentage. Okay, so we are asked to change 0.2 to percentage. The same principle. To change any number to percentage, multiply it by 100%. Okay, so the solution of this means 0.2 times 100%. 0.2 times 100%. Do you understand that now? So this means now when you are multiplying, listen, when you are multiplying a decimal number by any number in the power of 10, any number in the power of 10, that is by 10, by 100, by 1,000, by 10,000, by 100,000. You get understand the point? When you're multiplying any decimal with a number in the power of 10, okay, what that simply means is that because of that power of 10, the number of 0 contained in that number will make this point shift to the right depending on the number of 0 you have in that number. For example, if we are multiplying by 100, in 100 we have 2 zeros. Okay? What that will mean is that this will be equal to, this decimal point will move 2 times. It will move here 1 and moves here 2. So it will move 2 times. So this will mean that this decimal point is out of where it is. So 2 now becomes a real number. And it moves the first one 1. Because the 0 is adding itself here. It will add 1 0 here. This one. Then it moves again 2. The second 0. Where the second 0 terminates is where the point will now be. This is now point 0. You now put point 0 there. Okay? So you put your percentage. Remember, in real numbers, any real number, any whole number has invisible point 0. It means that this 20 can also be written as 20%. If, let's take for instance, allow me to write here, let's take for instance, we are given 0.2 times 1,000. This is how many? 3. Okay, so we are moving this point how many places to the right? 3 places to the right. So we are moving 1, we are adding 1 0. 2, we added 1 0. And what? 3. At this point, we are not adding 0, we are adding point because it terminates there. So this will be equal to 200.0, which is also equal to 200. Do you understand that now? So that is what that is. If it is by 10,000, 10,000 has 4 zeros in it. It means it will go 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? All right. So that is that for that. So changing 0.2 to percentage is 20%. How? Let's change this percentage to ordinary number. Okay? Let's change it to decimal number. Now let's convert it to that place. To change this in means, you know what we do? 20% means, this means 20 over 100. So this is 0 here, 0 here. So we're having 2 over what? 10. 2 over what? 10. Now, remember, I said to you, all real numbers, all whole numbers rather, they have an invisible decimal point at the end. Okay? They have an invisible decimal point in front of them. Just like we have 20, 20 can be written as 20.0. 2 can be written as 2.0. 1 can be written as 1.0, and so on. So it means that here, these 2, there is a point what here? 0. So it means that there is a decimal point after 2. But it is 0.0. Why we don't write that 0.0 is it means nothing. Do you understand me now? It is also the same thing as writing 2 on its own. So if we have 2 divided by any number divided by any number in the power of 10. Let's say 2 over 10, 2 over 100, 2 over 1,000, 2 over 10,000, 2 over 100,000, and so on. Now, remember, when we multiplied, the decimal point moved to the right. When we are dividing, in the case of division, the decimal point moves to the left. Do you understand me now? So depending on the number of 0 in that number in power of 0, depending on the number of 0 in them, it will determine how many times the point will move to the left. Do you understand that now? So what that means is that since 10 is just 1 0 here, it means this decimal point moves how many times? 1 time to the left. So this decimal point it has left here now. It is now here. So this means 0.2. The point has left the back of 2 is now before you call the number 2. Do you understand that now? So this is 0.2. 0.2 is also written as 0.2. So because this is 0.2. 0.2 is also the same thing as 0.2. 0.4 is also the same thing as 0.4. Do you understand me now? But to make it look very fine and nice, you just put 0.2 because there is no number greater than 0 that is after here. Do you understand me now? So you see that we have returned this thing to where it was before. You get that now? Okay, so let's look at some questions from our exam guide. Let's look at some things from our exam guide and see what we can get from there. This is percentages. Okay, percentages. We have you here. Okay. Okay. So let's look at some questions that we have there. Now, we can apply percentages in some different walks of life. We can apply percentages in getting our scores in your exams. Okay? We can apply all that. So percentages just simply gives us a comparison of anything as with 100 as the reference. Okay? we compare anything as 100 as the what? Reference. So let's look at some past questions from the ExamGuide app. Okay? The first one we have there. Let's look at the first one. Number 1. Number 1 says, what is 12.8% of 250? Question mark should be there. So let's look at the solution of that. What is 12.8% of 250? Okay, now we must apply, let's bring that now. We have 12.8% of what? 250. This is very simple. All you need to do is express this thing in mathematical terms. This thing, they just gave you this thing in words. 12% of 250. You can put it in mathematical terms. Okay? All right. Now, I have told you that when you see 12, whatever, when you see any number and there is a percent on it, what does that mean? It means, so this means 12.8% over 100. Is that correct? I think that is correct. 12.8 over 100. Do you get that now? Okay. So now they say 12.8% of 250. Now in board mass, PODMOMAS. In mathematics, this thing O, which is off means multiplication. Anytime you see the word of something, like 2 of 4 means 2 times 4. Do you understand that now? So once you hear the word of in mathematics, maybe there is a number and they are telling you that number of this. Maybe they are giving you 1/2 of 4. That means 1/2 times 4. So this of means what? Times 250. So we have expressed this in mathematical expressions. That is the first thing you do. Okay? So you can now do this now. 0 can divide this 0. Remember, this denominator that we have here can either divide anything here or anything here. Even if we have times 100 times 20 times 10, it can decide to either divide this or divide this or divide this or divide this or even divide this one. Anyone it wants to divide. Do you understand the point now? So I am choosing to divide 250. Okay, it's easier for me and it is easier for you to divide that instead of coming here and dividing and bringing this thing back here. No, don't do that. Okay, so this here we have 25 all over what? Okay, we have 25 of what? 10. Okay, so we have what is common between 25 and 10? We have 5. 5 here is 2. 5 here is 5. Do you get that now? Okay. Now, if we look at this, 2 into 12, 12.8 divided by 2. Okay. 2 here is 1. 2 into this place is what? 6. 2 into 8 is 4. So this is 6.4. Because 6.4 and 6.4. This is what? 8 point. This is 12. So this is 12.8. Do you get that now? Okay. So you see how it is easier for me to divide. How it's easier for me to divide this 12.8 now because I have brought something that is easier to divide them. So I said 2 here is 1. 2 into 12 is 6. Bring the point. 2 into this one is 4. So this is 6.4. So we are having at the end of the day 6.4 times 5. Do you understand me now? So if we do 6.4, permit me, 6.4 times 5. Remember, we have just one decimal point. There's a decimal point. So whatever answer we'll get, we'll have a decimal point to it. So this is 5 times 4 is what? 20. So this is 0, carry 2. Okay? 5 times 6 is 30. 5 times 6 is 30. Plus this 2 is 32. So this is 30 what? 2. Do you get that now? So this is 3, 2, and 0. since we said this is just one decimal point here, there's a decimal point in this thing, so we put that in at this place. So it means that 6.4 times 5 is 32. So this means 12.8% of this is 32. And if we look at our options, then we have option C as the correct option. Okay? Okay, let's look at the next question. The next question, they say, if 50 whole number 1/2%, that's number 2 from our exam guide, they say if 50 whole number 1/2% passed the test, passed the what? Test conducted for 400 students. How many students failed? How many students failed? Now look at that question very well. If 50 whole number 1/2% passed the test conducted for 400 students, how many students failed the examination? So let's look at that. So they are asking us 50.5%, that is 50.5% pass test conducted for 400 students. Now 400 students sat for this exam. Okay? 400 students sat for this. Let me explain. You must explain this question before you can answer it correctly. 400 students sat for this exam, and 50% of the 400 passed. You get the point now? So for people that passed, they say it is what? 50 whole number 1/2 of 400. These people passed. You get that? So let's know the people. If we know the number of the real number of people that passed, we can now subtract that number of persons that passed from 400, which is the total number of students that sat for the exam, and we'll get students that failed. These examiners will be very tricky. They will give you in your options the answer you will get for pass. That's not what they're asking you. Okay? So let's see that now. So this will mean 50 whole number 1/2%. Sorry, percent. Okay? So this means that 50 whole number 1/2. Please, can we convert this first of all to improper fraction? Okay? Improper fraction. So this times this is 100. 100 plus 1 is 100 plus 1/2. So this is 100 plus 1. That is 101. 101 over 2. That is what? 2 times 50 is 100 plus 1 is 101. So over 2. So this percent of 400. Do you get that? If we okay, so that's what this means. So this means that 101 over 2. I want to teach you from here now how to when two fractions are dividing themselves, what to do. All right, so this means that 100 over 2, 101 rather, sorry please, 101 over 2 will be divided by what? 100. Remember, we said 100, every whole number has a denominator that is not visible over 1, all whole numbers. So it means this 100 is over 1. So we are having two fractions dividing themselves. So this is of 400, remember. So what this of now, of course, we know what of is. Let's quickly introduce it there. Of means times. We know that from explanation here. So now look at this now. We are having, this is a fraction. Everything here is a fraction. This is also a fraction. It's just like saying 1 over 2 divided by 3 over 4. This is a fraction being divided by another fraction. It can happen. There is a situation where a fraction can divide another fraction. Do you understand me now? So when that is done, we take an inverse of division, which is multiplication. So once you see anywhere that a fraction is divided by another fraction, this is what you do. The first fraction, which is the whole of this now, you know, in our concept of fraction, any number up is numerator. So I am calling the whole of this fraction numerator of this fraction. Okay? So this numerator, which is 101 over 2, will have to change. This division will change to multiplication. Now the question is, what makes it to change? Is that the denominator of the denominator fraction, you know, all these are denominator now. Or the denominator of the fraction that is dividing the one up, the denominator will now be the numerator, while the numerator will become the denominator. It means 100 over 1 will now be what? 1 will now become the numerator here. 100 will become the denominator here. So times this one, we are bringing this in down, times 400. I don't think you're confused there. Let me see if I can explain that again. So I said when a fraction is dividing another fraction, you take an inverse of multiplication or inverse of division. Inverse of division will give you multiplication. But in that case, the denominator of the fraction down, which is the denominator fraction, its denominator will now be what? Numerator, and its numerator will become denominator. That is it. Like if you have, see here now, let me do this here. If you have 2 over 3 divided by 4 over 5. So this means 2 over 3 times 5 will now go up 5, 4 will now come down 4. That is what it is. Okay? So that is what we did here. 101 over 2, 101 over 2 times 1 will now go up, 1 will go up, 100 will come down, 100 will come down, and we will introduce multiplication. Okay? So this will mean this cancel this cancel this. You see that? 2 into 4 is 2. Do you understand me now? So everything at the denominator is now 1, because 2 into itself is 1. Here is 1. 1 times 1 is 1. Over 400 over 1. 1 times 1 times 1, everything there is 1. Okay? So we have up here now. We have 101 times 1 is 101. 101 times 2. 2 times 1, 2. 2 times 0, 0. 2 times 1, 2. So this is what? 202 students. So 202 students passed. Like I told you, if you are in, I am a random, so I don't know the particular number or the particular year, but in what I have here, you can see that they gave option E as 202. Some students are very careless to go and pick when they get to this point. No. What is the question? How many students failed? This 202 is the number of students that passed. To get the number of students that failed, subtract 202 from what? 400, and you get the number of what? Students that failed. Okay? And you get the number of students that failed. So what that means is that he said, therefore, failed will be equal to total minus passed. Total students that sat for the exam subtracted by what? Or subtract the number of students that passed from it. So this will mean 400, which is number of students that sat for the exam, minus 202. What that gives us? You put your 400 this way. You remember in your BESE exam or something, I don't know if you may be allowed to use a calculator, so you should learn how to solve, okay, without calculators. Okay, so this is minus 202. Okay, this cannot divide, this cannot subtract, this cannot. So we borrow 1 from 4, this becomes 3. We have removed 1 from 4, it's become 3. We put 1 here first, it's become 10. But we are going to this place. So we take 1 again from 10, this is now 9. We put it here, it becomes 10. So this is 10 now. 10 minus 2 is 8. 9 minus 0 is still 9. 9 minus nothing is still 9. 9 is still there. So 3 minus 2 is 1. So 198 students failed. So if we look at that now, we have option A as the correct option there. Okay? Option A as the correct option in that particular example. Okay? If 25% of a number is this, find a number. Let's have something like this. Is 75. Find, or what is the number? Find a number. Solution. In mathematics, for you to know how to solve a particular problem, pay attention to what you are asked to do. Especially in word problems like this, what you are asked to do. Here, you are asked to find a certain number which you don't know. They said, if 25% of that number, they said of a number is 75. What is the number? We don't know the number, so we have to find it. So you answer this question blindly. How do you answer it blindly? Tell them, let the number be anything. It can be X, the number can be Y, can be any. So represent that number that you don't know by any letter. So pick a letter of choice, maybe A, B, C, D. Let's use A. Okay? So you say, let the what? Number they asked us to find be what? A. Let the number be A. Do you get that? So, they said 25% of what? A. That's what they're saying. We said this number, let it be A. So they said 25% of A. So this means 25% of A is what? 75. So they say we should find A. So let's put this thing now in mathematical form. So 25% means 25 over 100 of means times A. We have A is, when in what problem they say something is this. This is this. It means equal to. Okay? So this is 25% of A is equal to. That is what they mean there. So 25% is equal to 75. Are you there? Okay. So what that means is we do our normal stuffs here. This is over 1. I told you in multiplying fractions, denominator to denominator, numerator to numerator. So we have expression with two sides, the right hand side and the left hand side. Okay? So we have 25 times A gives us 25A over 100 is equal to 75. Okay? This can 25 is a factor of 100. So 25 into itself is 1. 25 times 4 is 100. Okay? Because 25 plus 25 is 50, plus another 25 is 75, plus 25 is 100. So 4 times. Okay? So 25 into itself is 1. 25 into 100 is 4. Okay? So what that means is, if you can follow me, let's have this here. So this is 1 times A is now A over 4 now is equal to 75 over 1. Any number is over 1. So cross multiply. This goes to this place. This goes to this place. So 1 times A is equal to 4 times 75. So 75 times 4. 4 times 5 is 20. So have 0 carry 2. 4 times 7 is 28 plus 2 is 30. So 300. So A is equal to 300. So our option that is correct there is option C. We can check that. We can now check 25% of A, which is 300, to see if it will give us 75. So to check it, check. Since we said that 25% of A, and our A is what? 300. It means 25% of 300. Let's see if it will give us what? equals to what? Let's see if it will give us 70. We know we have 75 here, so let's say if we are correct. So this is 25% times 300. Is that okay now? This cancel this, 0 cancel 0, 1 into this place. So this is 3. 1 into 3 is 3. So this means 25 times 3, which I told you before is 75. Do you understand that now? So that is how that is what we have about that. So for percentages, I think we have gotten some very good example about what percentages are, and with this now, I think you can solve almost all questions that you will be given on percentages. Okay? All right. Thank you very much. I will see you in our next class. Thank you.